we have Jimmy Highsmith. He served in the U.S. Force for 10 years. He was a staff sergeant, and his deployments were in Honduras, the Desert Storm, Rwanda, and Bosnia.
Thank you so very, very much. Yes, I think I'm the only Air Force guy up here. I think I'm surrounded by Navy and Army, it looks like. It's okay, though. We were always the best, so. I want to thank you guys for having me again this year. My daughter couldn't make it, unfortunately, but she sends her love and will be back next year for you guys. Again, it's always an honor to talk with you folks about Veterans Day and my pride in being a U.S. veteran. I would encourage everybody, if you have an opportunity to go into the military, by all means do it. You know, one great thing about the military is you college paid for it. You know, going to the ROTC program or just as enlisted and use your GI Bill. My daughter went to the Navy in the 10 years Navy and used her GI Bill to get her LPN. Now she's going to get her RN from U of R as of December. It's also all paid for. So she'll be a nurse with no college debt, thanks to the U.S. Navy. You know, I went to the Air Force out of college. I was a musician at Eastman and went to the Air Force and initially joined the Air Force band, but found it was not for me, and I changed my direction into Air Force Intelligence Logistics, which I enjoyed immensely, and did 10 years Air Force, and I'm thankful for those opportunities because it taught me a lot of things, such as work ethic, integrity, you know, basically self-control, how to talk with people and deal with people from different backgrounds, and I'll never, ever take those skills for granted. I appreciate it. In my current career, I manage a company that promotes festivals, and I'm forced to deal with a lot of people from different places in the world, and without those skill sets, it'd be hard to do that job. So again, I appreciate my military experience for doing that, and again, you know, get your education, take your time, study hard. Trust me, study. I'm 57 years old, and if I can go back in time and be your age again, I would study even harder than I did then, just to get that knowledge to really prepare myself for the world. And if you consider going to the military, by all means, do it. Do it. It's a lot of fun. I had a great time, but if you're going to do it, make sure you pick a career you want to do and get the best out of it, because it's a way of life, not just a job. All right? I think that's all I have to say. Any questions? Oh, here we go. I was not a pilot, thank God. I'm blind, I wear glasses. No, I worked in the logistics area. I help plan missions. Any other questions? Yes, sir. So when I was at Eastman, I saw the Air Force band at my high school, and it was really cool. And I wanted to join that band, but when I joined the Air Force band, I was lied to because that band was a performance band called Tops and Blues. And when I got in the Air Force, I was in a marching band, which I didn't like doing. So you have to take what's called an ABAP exam. It's like an SAT to determine your job qualifications. And I scored pretty good on that, so I cross-trained into the career field. Yes, sir.
How long did you serve for?
How long? 10 years, 87 through 97. All right, last question, I gotta get off the stage. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
So, were you like a teacher at Eastman, or like were you going as like a practice community?
I was a student at Eastman. I was all of 18 years old. I was a student. So, all right, thanks guys, have a great day.
Next, we have Tom Hyman. He served in the U.S. Navy for 20 years. He was ranked a Lieutenant 03E. His deployments were submarines, fleet ballistic missiles, Mediterranean, and amphibian ships.
Wow. It's been a while since I've been here. Any of you ever seen me on your bus? That's because I work in transportation, and if I get on your bus, it means that you guys are talking too loud. So hopefully you never see me on your bus. But I went into Navy in 1976, right out of high school. For 2 years, I went to school to learn how to be a computer technician because submarines need to know where they're at all the time in the water, because they're given a target way over there, and they need to tell a missile, this is where you're at, and this is how much thrust you need to hit your target. And I did that for 12 years. When I went to shore duty, I got to go to school at night, and I got a 4-year degree in computer application systems with a concentration in accounting. The Navy said, we don't want you to get out, would you apply for a commission? And in 1988, I'm sorry, but that's my brother. He commissioned me as an ensign because he was already an officer. And I spent another 8 years in the Navy carrying around Marines and amphibious operations. I came home one Thursday, being at sea for 6 months, went home, came back the next day to the ship, said, you're getting underway Monday to go to the Persian Gulf for the Gulf, Desert Shield, and then Desert Storm. At the end of Desert Storm, I came back home, and within a week, I got orders that said, you're going back to the Persian Gulf for another year to help with getting a submarine in and out of the Persian Gulf. And then while I was over there, I had a wonderful experience in meeting Itzhak Perlman in Haifa, Israel. I got to meet Pavarotti in Dubai, and that's the first time I understood what an opera was. And I was so unknowledgeable about operas that I sat next to him and had dinner, and I didn't even know who he was until he got up and sang the opera. I also was able, with my privilege of meeting John Paul II, had an audience with the Pope for 15 minutes. So my naval career of 20 years was actually wonderful. And because of that career is what got me into education. I worked with Lou Alimo at Greece Central School District, and I was the director of technology over here. I came here and met Mike in 2012 because I worked in technology at this middle school for 6 months, and then I decided to go drive school bus. And then they asked me to come back and help with the transportation department, and that's how I get to come here every once in a while and talk to you about Veterans Day. But what does Veterans Day mean to me? I always have wondered that question, what does it mean? I know I'm a veteran because I served in the military for the freedom of our nation. I don't take that for granted at all. We have a lot of freedom here because I've been to many, many different countries in South America, all over the Middle East, all over the Mediterranean and Europe. And everybody I ever met would say, would you sponsor me to come to America? And I'd always ask why. It's because you got freedom there. You can open up a store. You can start farming. We have to get permission from government a lot to do a lot of different things. The freedom of America is amazing to me because every veteran who has joined the military after Vietnam do it as a volunteer. And they say, here am I, send me. I've had friends got sent overseas and they came home and I went to their services, we put them in the ground. Because they were willing to say, I will die for freedom. That's what a veteran means. You were willing to die for freedom. Put your life in harm's way to allow us to have freedom in America. One of the shocking times for me was 9/11. When I saw those planes fly into the towers. It's been a long time since on American soil we had an attack, and that was an attack. And we spent a long time sending people over there trying to settle the issue of that. And there was people who said, "Here am I, send me," and they came home in a box. And we put them in the ground. You're going to get ready when you turn 18. We ask you to sign up for the draft. We haven't used the draft in a long time because there's enough people to say, "Here am I, send me." I have a great nephew that did that in July. He went and joined the Navy. It's very unique watching people that say, "I'll go to the military and serve." And I'm going to tell you, it's not for everybody, and I understand that. But it's good to know there are people that will say, "Here am I, send me." Thank you.
Next we have Mrs. Erica Stanet. She was a lawyer in the Army, and she had almost 6 years on active duty. She was a major, and she had training missions in Thailand and Japan.
Good afternoon. Here we go. It's a little back and forth here. Well, thank you very much for inviting me to be here today and to speak with you. It's an honor to be part of your special celebration of Veterans Day. And I think it's a real privilege to share with you my thoughts as we prepare for Monday, a day that we come forward and honor our veterans. As I stand before you, I'm filled with a really deep sense of gratitude. Serving in the military was one of the greatest privileges of my life. It was a journey that taught me invaluable lessons about courage, selfless service, teamwork, and the value of freedom in the United States. When I first joined the military, I was like many of you. I had hopes, I had dreams, I had aspirations. I wanted to make the world a better place. And I thought a lot about what I would give to my country. Never did I think for a moment, though, what that experience would give to me. I had no idea that this path would shape who I would become today. I have friendships that I forged. I have challenges that I made my way through that has made me a stronger and more confident person today. And all of that impacted me very significantly and put me on the professional path that I'm on now. One of the most important lessons I learned in the military was the value of teamwork. Who here has been on a team of any sort? Okay, pretty much everybody in the room, right? So when you think about the United States military, it's about the biggest team you can be on. And from day one, you learn it's not about you. We're not going to succeed or fail because of you being on your own. We're going to succeed or fail based on how you can work with your team. So that has been something that has been really important for me, and I've looked for in my life going forward. I've looked to be part of teams, part of committees, part of my community in a way that I get to work with other people to try to lift others up. In my time in the military, my fellow soldiers and I, we relied on each other. We supported each other, and we trusted each other. And we were prepared to trust each other with our lives. And that's a really big commitment to each other. It means you have to train as hard as the person next to you. It means you have to be just as ready as they are if the time comes and you're called upon to go into a dangerous situation. It taught me that work taught me that together we really can overcome any obstacle, no matter how insurmountable it may seem. I looked for a quote today that I wanted to share with you, and I ended up selecting one that's always inspired me, and it's a quote by Ronald Reagan. We're blessed with the opportunity to stand for something, for liberty, for freedom, and for fairness. And these are things worth fighting for and worth devoting our lives to. And we have good reason to be hopeful and optimistic. To the students here today, you each have the power to make a difference in this world. Whether you choose to serve in the military or pursue other paths, remember those values of courage, dedication, and teamwork, and service to others, those are universal. You can take them into your everyday lives. You can embody those in how you approach being part of your school community, how you approach being part of the Brighton community. In closing, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to all of my fellow veterans here today. I want to express my gratitude to those who have served or are actively serving our country now, and to those who are no longer with us. The service and sacrifice of all these brave men and women have made our country stronger and safer. And to all of you, thank you for taking the time to hear more about our experiences, to learn a bit more about what serving in the military was like, and to remember our veterans. It's through your recognition and appreciation that their legacy lives on.
Hello, everyone. Many of us may have family in the military, and many may have suffered loss. But I would like to honor a member of the military here in our TCMS community. Please welcome Chris Montulli.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having all of us here today, for coming, for your attention and your engagement here. It really means a lot to all of us, and how you are engaged here and so forth. Now, I served in the military. I was in the Navy for 6 years, and I was stationed on ships that traveled all around the world, from the Pacific to the Atlantic. That's me actually transitioning in the Panama Canal between the Pacific and the Atlantic. And sometimes I was near, our homeland here, but oftentimes far away from it. And my job in the Navy wasn't just about being a sailor. It was about being part of a team. As Mrs. Stannett just said, that was a very big part of being in the military. And being a part of that team that protects our country and supports people around the world. That's another huge mission of our military. It's not just protecting our freedoms here, it's about supporting people around the globe that are less fortunate than us and are in oftentimes crisis. And in those years, I saw what it means to put others before myself and work hard with people from all sorts of backgrounds and to achieve our missions. Monday, we're going to observe Veterans Day to honor all those that have served in the military, whether they were in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, or the Coast Guard. Veterans Day isn't just about remembering those who fought in wars, it's about recognizing everyone who made a choice to serve their country. We all chose to wear the uniform for many different reasons, but in doing so, most of us realized that it was something bigger than ourselves, something worth defending. Being a veteran means carrying memories of good times, like the friendships made, but also tough times, like being away from family for long periods. It also means remembering the sacrifices that others have made, even those who didn't come back home. Veterans Day is a way for all of us to honor that dedication and courage. For you as students, Veterans Day is a chance to learn about what it takes to serve others and to understand the importance of respect and gratitude. Veterans Day, veterans sacrifice time, comfort, and sometimes their lives so we can have peace and freedom here at home. When you think of a veteran, remember that you're honoring not just their bravery, but also the commitment to protect the freedoms that all of us enjoy. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you for honoring veterans with respect and gratitude.
Okay, guys, so we have some time for a few questions. If anybody has questions, raise your hand and I will direct it.
what age did you guys know that you wanted to be both military?
18, I was in college.
17, I was a senior in high school.
I thought about it in high school. My mom was a hippie, so she said no. So I revisited it my first year of law school.
I thought about it in high school too. I tried college for a couple of years and that didn't go very well. So I was 20 when I went into the service. What branch? Oh, what rank? I was petty officer second class. I was a fire control radar technician. I was in the Navy, yes. I'm sorry?
You're just saying you didn't hear it at the beginning.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I was in the Navy. Yep.
Side.
I had a question for, but I can't remember his name, yeah, him.
Me.
So, like, did you, were you like afraid of heights or anything?
Were you afraid of what?
Afraid of like heights or anything?
Heights.
And it,
Heights, I was in the airplane, so kind of didn't matter at that point. But am I afraid of heights? No, I'm not. But thank you.
Emily.
So if you, both from to America, you join the army, if you
Yes, you can.
You don't have to be a citizen.
You do not have to be a citizen at all.
There are a lot of people in the military. There are a lot, and I served with a lot of people that were not citizens and were serving our country, or serving in our military, yes.
Kiva.
have any of you guys ever lost like one of your really close friends?
I have. I mean, we're at an age where unfortunately we go to more funerals nowadays than reunions. But yes, I've had a few friends in the Air Force that I served with who have passed. You know, and I was just telling these guys earlier, we meet every 2 years somewhere in the world and get together. Last year we met in the Bahamas. But we meet in the world somewhere every 2 years and get together because you never know.
All the way back.
No. I watched it happen a few times. My thing was, I'm on a plane that's fine. Put me in the airplane. Watch them out of the airplane. So no.
I've come down on a fast rope out of a helicopter, but not jumped out with a parachute. So we had a fast rope into an area one time that we were helping out.
When you were listing all the types of like the army and the military, you said something like what is that?
The Coast Guard, that is a branch of the military that is in charge of securing our coastlines. We have a Coast Guard station here in Rochester, right in Charlotte, and they are in charge of safety along our coastline. So if you get into trouble, you're out boating and you get into trouble, you can call the Coast Guard and they can come and assist you and so forth. Yep.
Did you guys get the chance when you were in the military?
That's a good question. So,
Can you repeat it?
So the question was, do you get to choose what you did in the military, or were you told what to do? Kind of a mix. So when I went in, went in as enlisted personnel. You take what's called the ASVAB test, and it's an aptitude test. And from your score on that, they offered me a position and a job and a school in the military, and you can accept it or not accept it at that point. But once you join, they can do whatever they want with you. They own you.
So for me, it was a little different. The Army or the military allows direct commission, so you can become an officer without having done ROTC in college if you have one of three jobs. If you are a doctor, a lawyer, or a chaplain. So I went in as a dentist. So I went in as a lawyer, so it would have not made a whole lot of sense for them to have me do anything else. But as a lawyer, the mantra in our unit was soldier first, lawyer second. So everything that the soldiers had to do, I did too. I did PT at 6 in the morning. I went out to the range with a weapon and qualified. I did all of the same stuff.
So for the enlisted ranks, when you enlist, you sign a contract. And when you sign that contract, you can say of your specific job. If you don't know what you want to do, you can join as an undesignated without anything, and it's based on the needs of the Navy where you end up at. I had a lot of seamen that would come to a ship, and they're trying to figure out what they want to do. So we show them all the different jobs, and then after about 6 months, they can go to that and try to take over that thing and become a petty officer in that position.
The Air Force was a little different. Like Chris said, we have to all take what's called the ASVAB exam, and that will dictate what jobs are available to you. But the Air Force, unlike the Army, we don't have a dual MOS. You pick one job, and then it's your job. And I remember back in the day, being in the Air Force, one of my base, in my car, and watching these guys run up and down the road with PT, and we didn't have to do PT. So I'm grateful for that. But I guess if you are considering the military, do your research on what jobs you want to do so you can pick a career field that suits you, okay?
Eleanor.
What was that? Didn't get her.
I'm great, actually. I'm a little brain damaged, but I'm good.
Is your question, did we get her? Or?
Get injured.
Yeah, I was airlifted out of Naples, Italy, and taken to Germany because I fractured my left ankle. And when I got to Germany, they asked me, we can do your surgery here, you can recover here, we can send you back to the States. So I said, put me on an airplane with a bunch of Air Force guys and send me back to the States to get my surgery here, and I did my recovery at home. So yeah, I had a fractured ankle.
I mean, I had injuries. I think your question is probably, were we ever wounded in combat? I was not wounded in combat. I don't think any of us were.
Respect them.
Yes.
Respect the concept.
Captured an illegal submarine? No. That would not have been part of our mission. You don't capture a submarine, those are hard to capture.
What we do on our submarines is we go out and we listen to other submarines, and we will follow them to find out what they're doing and where they're going. So yes, I have followed many Russian submarines.
The question was, what type of food did you, and I love this question because I always get in trouble as an Air Force guy, because we get the most smack because we have been told we have the most easiest jobs. I will say this, we had what's called dining facilities on our bases, not chow halls. And one day I went to Fort Dick to see how they eat. And I said, no, never again. We ate real food from real people.
On a submarine, we bring all our groceries on board for 120 days. But we brought lobster and steak, and that's what we had every Saturday night, was lobster and steak on board the subs. When you're underwater for 89 days, it's kind of a nice treat to look for Saturday to know you're going to have a lobster tail and a porterhouse steak.
All right, has anybody ever heard of an MRE? Okay, meals ready to eat, right? All right, let me throw a complicating factor in there. I'm a vegetarian. I was on a training exercise for 30 days. They had no vegetarian MREs. So for 30 days, I ate saltine crackers and peanut butter out of MREs.
Right here. Yep.
What was your favorite moment in Army? Military, sorry.
I don't know. I think Mike is.
So when you re-enlist, so if you're an enlisted person and you choose to re-enlist, you choose somebody who gives you the oath of office. And I got chosen. I was stationed in Hawaii, and Sergeant Bell chose me. And they take one trip out to the Arizona Memorial at the crack of dawn, so no other tourists are there. It's only military people who are re-enlisting. So it's really solemn, really quiet. For those of you who don't know about the Arizona is a ship that sank during Pearl Harbor, and they built a monument on top of it. And so the names of everyone who died are engraved in the wall, and I got to re-enlist Sergeant Bell on the Arizona, and it was just a really, really special experience.
I can tell you every day a submarine rose after you took it under the water was a great day. But I think the best days were every time we came back home and saw your family.
All right, guys. So you asked great questions, but you have to get to your next class. Wait. Do not all crowd the door. So before you go, obviously I want you guys to give a big thank you to the people that decided to come.